South Africa's first education minister under the democratic dispensation, Prof Sibusiso Bengu, will be laid to rest in Mtunzini on the KwaZulu-Natal North Coast today. His final farewell, a special official Category 2 funeral, is currently underway at the University of Zululand. Bengu died last Monday at the age of 90. He's been hailed for shaping the country's post-apartheid democratic education system. Bengu also served as the ambassador to Germany from 1999 to 2003 before he retired.
He oversaw the amalgamation of 17 fragmented education departments into a unified system and introduced Curriculum 2005 to reform the school curriculum. He also played a pivotal role in the facilitation of the transition from the Tertiary Education Fund of South Africa, TEFSA, to the current National Student Financial Aid Scheme, NSFAS. Compatriots, the manner in which we have enhanced the schooling system and produced quality metric results, leading to the acceptance of many of our children into higher education and training, clearly demonstrate how Professor Bengu's contribution impacted the education sector. Professor Bengu's contribution resulted in many among the previously disadvantaged groups participating meaningfully in the economy and leading in various professions and industries which they were previously barred. In recent years, in order to continue Professor Bengu's work and legacy, the government established the Human Resource Development Council, the HRDC. The HRDC has brought together government, the private sector, and civil society to ensure that we invest in the production of skills required by the state and the economy. Through the HRDC, we are working together with the institutions of higher education and training in advancing the transformation of higher education sector. And in keeping with this legacy and honoring his work, we are investing in the growth of development of the TVET sector, which plays a crucial role in producing the skills that the economy and the state immediately require. Ladies and gentlemen, let me also use this opportunity to thank the Department of Higher Education for honoring Professor Bengu by renaming what was then known as the Historically Disadvantaged Institution Development Grant to the Sibusiso Bengu Development Program. In order to enable the HDIs to respond to cross-cutting imperatives such as decolonization in higher education, indigenous knowledge systems, the fourth industrial revolution, and digitization, the Sibusiso Bengu Development Program aims to decisively redress the inequalities that have negatively impacted their development and sustainability. This program is in line with what Professor Bengu has fought for. We should therefore ensure that this program achieves its desired outcomes and that it never fails.
All right, we're going to cross now to SABC News reporter Nhlanhla Kgatlane, who is attending the funeral at the University of Zululand. Nhlanhla, thank you so much for your time. And these are first the live visuals of the procession and currently what is happening at the funeral service of Professor Bengu. And Nhlanhla Kgatlane, my colleague, is there following and reporting on the funeral. Nhlanhla, if I may bring you in now, we've heard a lot of remarkable work that has been done by Professor Bengu during his tenure as the Minister of Education just after democracy, or just in the dawn of democracy. How has his family remembered him, and what kind of a father or grandfather was he according to the family?
Well, thank you so much, Diabo. When we interacted with the family, even yesterday during the memorial, we had the family there, the grandchildren, speaking highly of their grandfather, even the children saying that what you saw, it was what he was, a man who dedicated his life to others, but not forgetting his family. They said he was a father of the community. He knew what his role was, and also touching on those particular moments they had with him. One of the grandchild saying that at some point they had a discussion, and he took each and every discussion about the history of the country, where we come from as a country, serious, whereby he had an incident with him, and he jokingly one day asked him, "Grandfather, can you tell me about the history of our country?" And at that particular day, he woke up very early in the morning, woke him up and said, "Go take a shower," and that's when he narrated the story in terms of what made him to join the fight to liberate South Africa. And as you mentioned there, Diabo, when you said that he was highly praised for the role that he played, being regarded as the champion of education, being regarded as somebody who played a crucial role in dismantling the education system that the country came with from apartheid, to come and ensure that the country, the education system favored everybody, and because of that, he was highly, recommended for the position. And Dr. Blade, Professor Blade Nzimande, rather, they're saying that the first, democratic president of the country, when he appointed him as the first education minister, could not look anywhere else but him because of the role that he played. Also, they spoke about the kind of person he was on a daily, day-to-day basis. I mean, when we interacted with them, they say that, he's a person who had a calm, approach to things, but, believed in that when you interact or debate about a certain issue, there was no need for you to raise your voice, but rather increase, raise your ideas, raise your argument to ensure that your message is heard. Speaking to him, saying that, he speak about him, saying that he was a seed that was needed for the time that, the country was going into a new dispensation. If you remember that, at that particular time before he was appointed, the country would go into become a democracy. And also amongst his credentials, being a first black vice chancellor of Fort Hare, speaking highly of him and his role, how he took education, and also mentioning that even during his time, because he was a teacher as a profession, saying that you'd never see him carrying anything to enforce, discipline. But immediately when he walked into, the schoolyard, immediately when he walked into the classroom, you could get the sense of respect and love from learners, speaking highly of his persona, saying that he's a person who was calm in his approach, who believed in thinking, who believed in sharing ideas. As you can see there, we know that the late Professor Bengu was afforded a special official funeral category, which is led by the South African police service, and we spoke to them earlier in terms of the significance of such a funeral, and them saying that it's for deserving citizens, those citizens that have given their all, and saying that the president, with regards to the role that was played by Professor Bengu, saw it fit, to afford him a special official funeral category too. We heard the president speaking about, the deputy president rather, speaking about him, in terms of, how the kind of person he was, saying that, he was a calm person. He dedicated all his time to South Africa. The duty that he was, given by the then president, he ensured that he would execute it, to his best of ability.
Very understood, Nhlanhla. Thank you so much for giving us that brief history. And we are going, those are live visuals currently of what's happening at Mtunzini in the University of Zululand. Let's listen in.
Thank you so much, Captain Jingwe and your colleagues, for all the work that you have done. This marks the end of the special funeral category 2, which is the official funeral. Let me take this opportunity. Thank Mfundiso Gumede for the work that he has done, and everyone who has assisted us.
Proceedings are wrapping up at the funeral service of Professor Sibusiso Bengu, who is being laid to rest today. Professor Bengu did leave this earth last week at the age of 90, and what you're seeing currently is the funeral procession outside and inside. Our SABC team is there covering the funeral.